It began on a cold September morning in a small town just outside Houston, Texas. Maria Thompson tightened her jacket against the wind as she walked her 8-year-old son, Daniel, toward the bus stop. The air smelled like the first days of fall, dry leaves, morning dew, and the faint smoke of someone's fireplace starting early. But Maria wasn't paying attention to any of that. Her eyes were fixed on her son's feet. The old shoes he wore, faded black sneakers with a torn sole, flapped with every step he took. She had stitched the sides twice already, but nothing could hide how worn out they were. Daniel kept his head down, almost dragging his feet like he wanted to walk slower so other kids wouldn't see. "Mom, can I just stay home today?" he whispered. Those words hit her harder than the cold wind. "You love school, sweetheart. What's wrong?" she asked, trying to sound casual even though she already knew the answer. He hesitated. "Kids laughed at me yesterday because my shoes make noise. They said it looks like a bird's beak opening." Maria felt a lump in her throat, one she tried to swallow down. She wanted to say something comforting, but there was only one truth. She couldn't afford new shoes right now. Her shift at the small diner barely covered their rent and groceries. After her husband passed away 2 years ago in a work accident, everything changed. Every little purchase felt like a sacrifice. She knelt in front of him. "Listen to me. You are brave. You are smart. And you're going to school because you deserve to learn. No matter what shoes you wear." He nodded slowly, but when the school bus arrived, he stepped on with hunched shoulders, trying to hide the torn sole. Maria watched the bus go, her chest heavy with worry. She wiped her eyes and walked quickly toward her workplace, the Silver Spoon Diner. The early morning rush had already begun. Coffee steamed, plates clattered, and the smell of frying bacon filled the air. "Morning, Maria," called out her coworker Jenna, a cheerful woman with a motherly smile. "Rough morning." Maria forced a small smile. Something like that. The hours passed in a blur of orders, spilled coffee, and tips that were far too small. By lunchtime, she felt the weight of exhaustion settle into her bones. But she kept moving. She always kept moving because slowing down meant thinking, and thinking meant remembering everything she wished she could give her son but couldn't. At around 2 p.m., while wiping down the counter, she heard the bell above the door ring. A tall man in worn jeans and a flannel shirt walked in. He looked around with a gentle curiosity, as though he hadn't been inside a diner in years. "Sit anywhere you like," Maria said. He chose a booth by the window. When she approached, he smiled warmly. He seemed like the kind of man who had stories. His eyes carried a quiet sorrow but also a softness. "What can I get you?" she asked. "Coffee, black, and whatever pie you recommend." "One pecan pie coming right up," she returned, grateful for an easy order. When she placed the plate in front of him, he noticed her tired hands. Calloused, red from hot water and dish soap. "You work here long?" he asked. 3 years. "It's a good place," he said. "Feels like home." His voice was calm, slow, almost comforting. She nodded politely, ready to step away, but something about him stopped her. Maybe it was the way he looked at her. Not with pity, not with judgment, just understanding. "Everything all right?" he asked gently. She hesitated. Normally she would never share personal problems with customers. But today her heart felt too heavy. "My son, he needs new shoes for school," she said before she could stop herself. "But I can't get them yet. And he's being made fun of." She swallowed hard, her voice trembling. "It just hurts to see him struggle." The man listened silently, his expression softening. "Kids can be cruel sometimes," he said. "But mothers are tougher than they think." Maria blinked rapidly, feeling embarrassed for saying so much. "I'm sorry. You didn't come here to hear all that." "No," he said. "But I'm glad you told me." He ate quietly after that, and Maria assumed the conversation was over. But when he finished and asked for the bill, something unexpected happened. He stood up, placed a $50 bill on the table, far more than needed, and added a folded piece of paper beneath it. "For your son," he said softly. "Tell him someone out there believes in him." Before she could say a word, he walked out. Confused, she opened the folded paper. Inside was a receipt from a local shoe store, dated that same afternoon. It showed a brand new pair of boys' athletic shoes, size 3, paid in full. Her breath caught. He had left the shoes at the store, ready for pickup. Maria pressed the paper to her chest. Tears welled in her eyes, not just from relief, but from the overwhelming kindness of a stranger who owed her nothing. When she clocked out, she rushed to the store. The clerk handed her a shoebox wrapped neatly with a note taped on top. It read, "Every kid deserves to walk confidently. Let him run, jump, dream. A friend." That night, when Daniel came home, she sat him down and placed the box in front of him. His eyes widened. "For me." "Open it," she said, barely holding back tears. When he lifted the lid and saw the brand new shoes, bright, sturdy, perfect, his mouth dropped open. "Mom, how? We didn't have." "A friend helped," she whispered. He tried them on immediately. They fit perfectly. He stood up taller, looking like a different child, like the weight of embarrassment had fallen off his small shoulders. The next morning, he walked onto the school bus with a big smile, tapping his feet proudly so the other kids could hear. Not the flapping of a torn sole, but the confident steps of a child who finally felt seen. As the bus drove off, Maria felt a warmth settle in her heart, a feeling of hope she hadn't felt in a long time. 2 weeks later, the stranger returned to the diner. Maria saw him and hurried over. "I didn't get to thank you," she said. He shook his head. "No need. Years ago, someone helped me when I had nothing. Now I just pay it forward when I can." "What's your name?" she asked. "Just call me Sam," he said with a humble smile. "Sam, you changed my son's life." He looked down for a moment, as if remembering something painful. "I once lost my own son," he admitted quietly. "If someone had helped him, maybe things would have turned out different." Maria's heart dropped. "I'm so sorry." He nodded. "But helping your boy, it gave me a little piece of peace." From that day onward, Sam became a familiar face at the diner. Sometimes he brought books for Daniel. Sometimes he just came for a slice of pie and conversation. He never asked for anything in return. And Maria never forgot the day a broken-hearted stranger walked into her life and gave her son not only a pair of shoes, but the confidence to stand tall again.